Hey guys, what's up? So recently I picked up a PSA Dagger. I've got about 500 rounds through it now, so I thought I'd do kind of my 500 round review and give you guys my impressions of it so far, just to kind of show you how these things hold up as you start to get into some round counts. First off, you can see the pistol's clear, no magazine, nothing in the chamber. Figured I'd start off that way. Just so there's no safety concerns. I do have some loaded magazines here, but there won't be anything put into battery. So first, on the outside of the pistol here, the first thing I was kind of concerned with on this pistol was going to be the pins and the roll pins. And it seems like everything is staying nice and tight. Everything is staying inside the frame of the pistol. Sights are still nice and tight. Yeah, nothing's really walking, and I wouldn't really expect to see anything walking, but I have heard that from these pistols. Second thing here, we're starting to get a little bit of wear on the top of the chamber there. I don't know if the finish that PSA is using is a little bit thinner than some of the other competitors. So you can see I am starting to get some wear there on the barrel's looking pretty good, except for right up by the crown. It's starting to get a little bit of a contact line. Recoil spring is holding up nicely. It's not gouging on the barrel, which sometimes cheaper pistols can do that. So mechanically, that's kind of the things I was looking for, and that all looks pretty good so far. You'll notice there's a scratch right there. This was a blem gun from PSA. That was the blemish. So I guess if you're wondering if the blem guns are worth it, that's about all you're really gonna find. I don't know if that's just like a hiccup in machining or what, but it doesn't affect anything really. And didn't really mess with how the gun shot. Now, this does have a Glock style trigger. It's not really broken in yet. There's still that bit of Glock creep that you get when they first come out of the box, as you can see. And then the brake. So the trigger's not all the way broken in yet. It is getting better as time goes on, but not super crazy about that. Now onto the kind of the ergonomics of the pistol. I did notice this finger swell that they put on the frames here is super sharp when you're shooting, and it was actually giving me calluses on my hand. So I took a file and I knocked that down a little bit. I'm probably gonna knock it down more in the future. Other than that, it fits pretty good and it shoots pretty good, but about like any other Glock. So if you shot Glocks, you'll know what to expect with these things. Now, we can touch base with the red dot here. I got the tall sights. These aren't the suppressor height sights, but they're the tall Ameriglow tritium front with blacked out rear. If you get this skew in the doctor cut and you get a Vortex Venom, it is not going to co-witness. Sorry, that's a tricky camera angle, but it's just right at the top there. So you don't get a co-witness with this thing. When PSA doctor cuts these, they cut it specifically for the Vortex Venom or Viper. So you can't put really any other doctor footprint red dot other than like a Burris fast fire. So be aware, if you get the doctor cut, you're pretty much stuck with Vortex. If you're fine with that, that's awesome. If not, I'd maybe get the RMR cut. Extractor staying in place pretty good. I did not have any malfunctions with the pistol in the first 500 rounds. I was shooting primarily Magtech and S&B 115 grain, 124 grain. Both of those ran fine, so I'm not super worried about the reliability of the pistol. It seems to be on par with just about everything else. I will say this does have a Gen 3 magazine style release. This thing is very small and very sharp. When you have a magazine inserted into the pistol, it's going to fit about like that. And it does not take a lot of pressure to knock that out. Magazines do not drop free. I'm sure they probably will eventually, but at this point they still don't. And with a caveat, I'm only running Magpul magazines in this right now. That's what the gun ships with, so that's what I've been trying to buy to go with it. And it does have a little bit of back and forth rock. Now, as you move on to the bigger and bigger magazines, here's a 17, for example. You can see it's got some wiggle. It did not affect reliability, but the bigger the magazine that you get, the more pronounced that problem is. It's annoying, but it doesn't affect anything. Shooting wise, it shot to point of aim, so that was pretty nice. I will say this vortex is kind of a pain in the butt to zero, but once it did, it was shooting and holding zero pretty well. One thing I'd like to point out on this vortex here, when you're outside, it's fine, but when you're inside, and of course it doesn't come across on camera, but this thing blooms really badly if you're inside. So just keep that in mind with the vortex red dot. Other than that, it's been holding up pretty well. I like that the slide stop is a little bit extended as opposed to a stock Glock. It's not really a good shelf, but as you can see, it does stick out a little bit more. I'm hoping that the trigger breaks in a little bit better. And once I hit the 1,000 round mark, I'll make another probably update. We can see how the gun continues to wear in, and then we'll see if it has any issues down the road. I'm really curious to see how that trigger is going to break in. But overall, I've been pretty impressed with the gun. Recoil wise, it's a little jumpier than I thought it would be, even with the flashlight on the end. This thing has a fair bit of muzzle flip. And I'm not sure if that's just because I'm used to shooting other pistols and pistols that are a little bit larger. But I will say I was kind of surprised at the amount of felt recoil that it did have. So other than that, the stippling on the sides, I've kind of got some dents and dings just from being at the range and shooting and putting my gear down and stuff. Nothing that really affects anything, but as you can see, I've scratched it in a few different places. And this seems like it's prone to denting. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to keep an eye on how the barrel continues to wear. Other than that, it gets really good strikes. It ejects well. And yeah, it's worth every bit of the $350 that you pay for these. But like I said, I will update you guys when I get a little further down, but so far so good. At 500 rounds, I'd say it's still good to go. So hopefully this helps if you're on the fence with one of these. If you are, I would really, really, really recommend that you get the RMR cut. I'm kind of kicking myself for getting the Doctor. So just hope this helps somebody, and let me know what you guys think. Take it easy.